Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Quarantine Corner. My name is Ashley Cox, and this is the episode that we've all been patiently and also not patiently been waiting for. All things The Last Dance. All 6 episodes slightly crammed into one episode of the Quarantine Corner that I'm calling It's Time to Dance. So let's get jiggy with it. First of all, I would like to explain that I was born in 1991, so I knew who Michael Jordan was, but I never really watched basketball because I was a football family, was too young to fully comprehend all of that. I watched maybe a few highlights when I was in high school, and that was it. So this was all a mind-boggling experience, and I loved every second of it. So our first quarter, we're all starting with North Carolina. We're starting strong. So small backstory, I'm a huge North Carolina fan. Carolina blue is my favorite color. Why, may you ask? Because my sweet mother, Tony, the life giver of me, grew up in Southern Pines, North Carolina on a farm where her family loved North Carolina Tar Heels. Go UNC, go Heels. Therefore, that has been passed down to me. And I literally was basically born and raised a Tar Heel before anything else. So I love them and everything that comes with it. Yes, I do love Tyler Hansbrough. Controversial, I know, but that was my guy in high school, still to this day. So anyways, let's get to The Last Dance and everything North Carolina. I had all the feels when in episode 1, when they started cutting to him at North Carolina, showing all the highlights, interviewing Roy Williams. I literally had chills the entire time. I was just so happy, you guys. It was amazing. A couple things that really stood out to me, especially with that. Everyone, basically, if you know Michael Jordan, you know that he didn't right off the bat make his high school team, and that's okay. He just used that as motivation to get better. And over a summer, he grew a couple inches. Obviously, that helps in the game of basketball. Just honed in on his guard skills, improved his ball handling, improved his shot. I can't talk today. I'm literally so excited about this. And then to hear that he went to a UNC camp and hear Coach Roy Williams talk about how when he walked into camp, they just thought he was an average regular player, no standout. And within 5 days at the end of the camp, they looked at him and goes, that's one of the best players in the nation right now for his age. That is huge to leave that impression on a program like that under Dean Smith and a younger Roy Williams. That's remarkable and memorable. And it wasn't just the way that he played, it was his work ethic that came behind it. It was his competitiveness. It was his heart to win and to get better and to make others around him better and to always be the best. And that led to his recruitment and signing and going to North Carolina. No big deal. I loved when Coach Roy Williams was like telling a story about Michael Jordan, how Michael Jordan said he wanted to be the best one day. And Roy Williams asked him the simple question of, well, okay, you got to work hard. You got to make sure that you put the time in. And he just kept going, and Michael Jordan stopped him and was like, well, I do that already. And Roy Williams goes, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you wanted to be the best. I just love that because it's so simple but so true at the same time. And Michael Jordan's like, no, you're right. I'm going to outwork everybody from now on. And he kept that promise because no matter what anybody said, no matter what anybody did on the floor, he completely outworked them. And that shows up in practice too. So I'm literally just imagining him all through college and his pro career, every practice showing up like he's going to play the game. Unheard of. And the fact that Roy Williams said this quote where he was the only player who could ever actually turn it on and off, and he never freaking turned it off. I mean, think about how long his basketball career was. And think about him showing up to practice every single day, maybe one day off because they play Saturdays. Just completely bringing his A game 100%. Like mentally, emotionally, physically. Like that is a coach's dream, and that does not happen. Like what an inspiration, like to truly love something so much and to want something and have such high aspirations for yourself in a profession that Michael Jordan just kept the main thing, his goal in mind through everything, and decided and chose to show up to practice every day and give his all and to get better and to be the best. And look what happened. It's amazing what you can put your mind to. Okay, I have chills. Also, still go Heels. Quarter number 2. what we learned about Michael Jordan literally amazed me. So I just know him as the best basketball player, somebody who is extremely competitive, but also somebody who has great style, meaning Air Jordan. Hello. But one thing I didn't know about is how deep his competitiveness went, and that comes from his family and wanting to be better than his brothers. Like, I'm an only child, but some of my best friends are literally now my siblings. Like, their kids call me auntie. Thank you so much, by the way. That means a lot. So I just imagine growing up with them and everything would be a competition. Like, I can't get out of my brain when Michael Jordan was in the locker room and he had all these security guards around and they're literally flicking quarters against the carpet to see who can get it close to the wall without touching, and they're betting on it. And Michael Jordan's just like, no, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Like, he's so competitive. They're flipping quarters. Unreal. Like, I thought it was funny. It wasn't even a shooting game or passing or anything in basketball. Literally just a flicking a quarter or tossing a quarter. It was hilarious. So learn about his competitive nature and how that fuels literally everything that he does, including helping his teammates like Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. Who both, by the way, have incredible stories of how they got to the NBA and their family life. Like, two complete backgrounds, but also coming in the same sphere and working together. That just boggled me. The fact that Scottie Pippen was the equipment manager at his collegiate team, and then he grew like 5 or 6 inches over a summer, and there's a spot open on the team, so he tried out and made it, and then he gets drafted 5th overall. What? Dennis Rodman lived on his own on the streets for 2 years, and he's just playing at some park, and a scout comes and sees him play and gets him to play at a school in Oklahoma. Then he's drafted. Jesus is alive, people. Okay, those stories are absolutely amazing. Great moments of opportunity for those guys, and look at them now. Now I don't know them as just Scottie Pippen, who is a great basketball analyst and seems like the greatest and nicest person ever, or Dennis Rodman as somebody who can just rebound and has crazy style, but it suits him. I got to see them as players and how Jordan kind of took them under their wing in a good way and really challenged them and pushed them and used what they were really good at. Like, Jordan never let up as a player, but he brought those two along and realized, oh, these guys are really good at on-ball defending or rebounding or, I don't know, give and goes. Whatever. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan give and goes are just so beautiful. I can't help it. So the fact that Jordan was able to use his teammates so well and really challenge them and push them to be the best that they were, to make them shine as well as himself, and scoring all those points and leading in assists, every coach's dream. I'm just saying. So there's that, because I could talk about that forever as a basketball coach. It kind of gets me. Quarter number 3. Love my notebook. That championship mentality. Oh my gosh. Guys, this struck me right to the core. And it reminded me of the Seahawks, and I hate saying that because we always talk about it, but it's just so true. It's just such a good mentality to have, a good outlook on life, where you just treat every day like it's game day, and you treat everything with that big goal, that main goal in mind, and every decision and everything that you do is in order to get you and the people around you to that goal. I think that's a great way to live life. I know that not everybody does, and I know that I don't even make those choices every day to do that, but it's a good constant reminder that it can be done, and that championship mentality is super important. And Michael even talked about in episodes 5 and 6, when he was just surrounded by media, that although he had everything going right for him, he had every sponsorship you can think of. His Nike line was literally thriving through the roof. I mean, look at it now. I still have friends who wait in line to buy those shoes and wait online to buy those shoes like hours in advance. So looking at those aspects of it, and he had literally everything that he wanted, but he never lost sight and lost focus of a championship at the end of the day. Like, his first 5 or 6 years with the Bulls was without a championship, and he still said, we're going to work to get one, and I'm not leaving here until we get one. And then after he had one ring, no, one wasn't enough. We're going to go get another ring and another ring and another ring and another ring. And every day he'd just wake up and like, we're going to get that championship. Even if they were losing, we're going to get that championship. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep winning, and it's going to happen. Literally spoke it into existence. This is what I'm talking about, people. I just love that. And it was so inspiring to see that through every battle he went through, whether that was like rumors and media or drama with teammates and GMs and coaches, and that, I don't even want to get into that. He just always kept the main thing. And his main thing right then and there was to compete, win a championship. And he did it. He won multiple. All right. Fourth quarter. This was also one that really got me. Guys, we're going to talk about Kobe a little bit. I'm not going to cry. This one is all about honor. It was so cool to see and hear some of the greatest names in basketball history that we are relevant. Like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Charles Barkley, like Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, all those guys, like very relevant names, household basketball names if you know basketball, all to talk about Michael Jordan as the greatest. There's always this debate about, is it Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James the greatest player? They're all wonderful. But to hear those guys who have made their statement in the game of basketball itself at the highest level compliment Jordan as a person, a player, and a competitor, I think is huge. When Charles Barkley said in this past episode 6 that he always thought he was the best player. I mean, if you're a competitive person, you play sports, like you're going to think you're the best player. When I played basketball, I thought I was the best defender. It's like nobody's going to out defend me. I will shut everybody down. You best believe it happened. So I can't imagine somebody like Charles Barkley who openly and willingly saying, I thought I was the greatest until I played against Michael Jordan. And then he was the greatest. Like, literally, he literally said Michael Jordan is the greatest to ever play his sport. Tiger Woods is the greatest to ever play his sport. Like, that just excels beyond anything I can think of for somebody as competitive and as skilled and as accomplished as Charles Barkley, and also who has a little bit of an ego, not in a bad way, but just to be like, yeah, he was the best to play. And even to hear Kobe Bryant, rest in peace with the Lord. Oh my gosh. Kobe Bryant played on another level, and Michael Jordan knew it. Even as a rookie, when he played in his first All-Star game, it was like, that kid just wants to take you one-on-one. Oh yeah, he did all day long, and he won every one of those opportunities in ISO. Just to hear Kobe Bryant say that his 5 championships he wouldn't have won without Michael Jordan. That's huge. And that just shows the leadership, and that Michael Jordan, he was a great player because he wanted to get better and he made others better too. He offered Kobe help anytime he wanted it. It wasn't a secret. He's just trying to help him and advance the game and advance his game. And it was all about giving back, and all of these great players had nothing but great things to say. Yes, Michael Jordan could have had an ego problem on the court. Yes, he could have been too competitive, but at the same time, greatness, like, I can't even think of the word right now. I'm just, greatness respects greatness, and greatness notices greatness, and greatness acknowledges greatness. I was just absolutely amazed by all of it. And I still can't get over it, obviously. I'm like, I got the chills. I'm starting to tear up. I was just really shocked by what those players said about him. Just because he did so much for the game of basketball, and to get that respect and acknowledgement, I think would be the biggest honor. With that, I'm going to stop there because I could go on and on and on, but I just picked my favorites for our 4 quarters. It was wonderful. Thank you guys so much for joining. So our next episode, we're going to break up The Last Dance a little bit and talk about baseball. So most people think that baseball is my favorite sport. It's not. It's my second favorite, but I just mainly work baseball. Thank you so much again for joining me for this episode of the Quarantine Corner. I so appreciate you guys subscribing and sharing. Please comment below. Follow me on social media. Interact with me. I'd love to chat about sports with you guys since we're still missing it. If you are still in Washington, we're going to get through this quarantine together, guys. We got this. For the rest of you, go sit in a restaurant for me, please, and order an appetizer.